Hey everybody, Spartan from SpartanTrading.com. Want to hit you guys with a quick little trade review today. I was asked to review this name. It's a short that I did intraday today, and it wasn't TCAT. It was CMMB. Now, this is a name that was running. Obviously, you can see that it had quite a bit of range from 30 bucks to 72 today. Basically, this is a name that was hard to borrow. If you guys are trying to short these hard to borrow items, you do need a specialty broker with a locate button to get locates on these things. If you're trading with someone like Thinkorswim, E-Trade, etc., they most likely don't have borrows for these types of items, so you will have to get a specialty broker. If you have any questions in regards to what specialty brokers are out there, I have done a YouTube video. If you go through my channel, you're going to see on the different types of brokers, so that could give you a little bit of insight to who to use. Now, going back to this idea here, guys, what was I looking at? Why did I get into it short? Yada, yada, yada. So this is a type of name that has a ton of range. So first and foremost, if you're going to be taking something like this short, you need to size down. You don't need as much size as you would typically take on a trade or stock that is trading within a $2, $3, $4 range. Trading in a $30 range within 30 minutes, size down significantly. When you start to take these types of opportunities as well, it's best to start with the starter size and add into the position if it works. There's no point in going in full size out the gate because you're not going to be able to give it enough room. And if you're wrong, and let's say it halts to the upside and you get stuck in the halt, you can get hurt. So this type of opportunity, what was I looking at to get in it short? A couple different things. Number one, I was looking at a parabolic trend break. And if you look at the 1 minute chart, it's pretty easy to see what that parabolic trend break looks like. Parabolic trend, it broke. Number one thing, I'm looking at it on a 10-minute chart, by the way. So I was looking for the 10-minute candle to open up below the parabolic trend, which it did. Next thing that I was looking for was the L2 and looking for the buyers to dissipate or step aside and sellers to step in. We could see it on obviously the candles. Red candle opened up there and started to sell off immediately. You can also see the long wicks, which is a representation of, the range was unable to hold. There were sellers obviously in that area, as well as on the L2, you're just going to see larger amounts of sellers coming in, and you're going to see the same thing on the time and sales. You have to, and what I always say is you want to use an L2 and a time and sales together just to verify what you're actually seeing on the L2. So anyways, sellers were coming in. Parabolic trend broke. We got confirmation with a candle closing below. And I also have an extension rule that I use, which I'm not going to talk about it here, but it is extended to the upside. And that was another signal to get into it short. So I ended up taking the name short at let's just do it by time here. 62, 63, 63, 20, 63, 50 level and was kind of sporadically moving. Went into it, started to cover as it was selling off into the EMA support, my first EMA that it tested, covered some there, covered some into the second EMA. I noticed that if that level broke, it had room all the way to the third EMA support level that I had. I ended up adding into that position at the 52 level. And then looking for that $47 as my target area. Ended up pulling into the 44, and then I covered the last little piece around 52 bucks, which is where I originally added the second time around. So we can see, from this, whatever you want to call this, the execution table, that the short for, was a short for, let's call it 14, 15 points to the downside was, fairly clean. We didn't really have to fight any of the price action. Basically waited for that momentum to die down. It died down quickly and then treaded down into EMA support, which eventually did end up bouncing off of into the end of the day, and ended up taking off the rest of it there. So not a super complicated trade, just a matter of recognizing when momentum dies down, kind of switches from buying to selling, and just being prepared for that switch. So getting the locates prior to that. I mean, you can get the locates when you see it. There's no problem with that. But sometimes you want to get the locates prior just because sometimes these hard to borrow items, they'll run out of locates pretty quick. So just my 2 cents there. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you go to SpartanTrading.com. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys shortly.